In this lesson, I'd like to show you how to copy data from Excel and then paste it into a new chart on a slide and then format that chart in PowerPoint. First thing I'll do is just create my chart, just a raw blank chart out here in PowerPoint. Gonna need a little bit of room, so I'm going to change my layout here to title only. And just make a little room for my chart. Now what I'm going to do next is just come out here and choose Insert, Chart, and I'm just going to choose just the standard chart to start with, just a basic column chart, and I'll click OK. And I get this generic column chart living out here with some generic data popped in here as well. Next, I'll grab some Excel numbers and then paste them inside of this data area. I have an Excel spreadsheet open. I'm just going to come out here and grab some data that I'd like to use. I'm going to right-click this data and choose Copy, and then move back to PowerPoint. In PowerPoint, I'm just going to click on this empty cell in the top right corner, right-click and choose Paste, and I'm just going to paste the data in there. And now I see the data living out here as well. There's been a mistake on Bob's data, so I'm going to come out here and change it from 200 to 20. And then you can see that reflected back on the chart. Next, I can just put away this spreadsheet for now, and I'll click on my chart and just resize it a little bit, make it a little more easier to look at here in the middle of my slide by centering it up like so. I can give this chart a title if I'd like, or I could just click right on the title and press delete to take it out. I'd like to move my legend off to the right hand side, and I'd like to swap the months, which is in the legend, with the data. So I want to basically flip-flop X and Y, where I'll see the names of my salespeople in the legend and then have these months replace where my names are here. So I'm going to click my chart once, and I'm going to come up, click on my Design tab, and then over here under Quick Layout, I can just pick a different layout that'll work for me, kind of like this guy here. And then over here on the right hand side, I'm going to choose Select Data, and this will bring up this Select Data Source. And what we have here by default is this little switch row column thing. So I'll click on that, then click OK. And now we've got something that we can work with. Okay, back in Excel, I could leave Excel open, or I could close it. It's not going to matter. We have the data that we want. I'd like to make my fonts a little bit bigger. It's kind of small. So what I'm going to do is just point at one of my numbers on the left here, right-click and choose Font, and I'm going to change the font size from 14 to say 20 and click OK. A little bit bigger, easier to see. Now, a quick way to go ahead and apply this to my legend and also my category axis is just to click once on the category axis, and then since the last formatting we did was changing the font size on the y-axis, I can just press the F4 and it reapplies the last formatting. I'll click on the legend, press the F4 key, and I get that formatting applied very quickly. I think the numbers on the left are a little bit too resolute. What I want to do is take out the 35s. I only want this thing bumped up by 10 for each tick mark. So what I can do is just come out here anywhere and right click and choose Format Axes. And then what I'll do out here under the major unit, I'll change it from 5 to 10. You could also change your minor units if you wanted to have a little more detail inside of here. You can also change your scale. So I'm starting at 0 and my maximum's 40. I could make my maximum, say, 35 if I wanted. Change that up a little bit. And then when I go ahead and close this, you'll see that reflected out here on the chart. Need to come back in and change my bounds to 0 as well. There we go. Now we got something we can work with. Maybe something else I can do is change the color of a data series inside of my chart and also maybe collapse down the space here a little bit between these. So what I'll do is just come out and pick a data point. I'll pick this yellow looking data point. I'll double click it and it brings up an option here where I can reduce the gap. So I'll say the gap is going to go from 120 down to 90, and also the fill color on this, instead of being orange, I could make it like a light green like so. If I want to go back in and change my numbers, I can just click near the chart to select it and then come back up and choose Edit Data. It'll just open back up that little spreadsheet window where I can make some adjustments with the names or the data inside. If I want to change my chart type, again, I can just click to select the chart area, and then up under Insert, under Design, I could change to a different type of chart if I like out here. I could click the drop down arrow and I get more of a palette to view out here for different chart types. If I want to change the whole layout of the chart, I could come out here to the right and choose Change Chart Type and maybe change this to a scattered 3D column chart, something like this. In this case, I have some redundancy going here, so I could even just get rid of my legend. I could delete that by pressing the delete key, and then out here I could right click one of my series, choose font, again bump that up to say 20, click OK, and then down here just select here, press F4, and click here and press F4. So experiment around, experiment with this. If you'd like, basically one thing to remember is if you ever want to make a change on something, just right click with your mouse to see if you can find an entry inside the shortcut menu that might address what you're looking to take care of here.